There is now a trending phrase in the corridors here called Kitawaramba. This phrase came from the priest, not the priest, Pastor Mackenzie. That's not the gist of this analysis. Mount Kenya is slowly splitting into some 5 sprinter groups. And these sprinter groups are evolving and pointing different directions with different interests dividing them. I want us to look at this in details because this is indeed a very bad news for Rigathi Gachagua, who believes that by the fact that he is a deputy president and high-ranking member of government from that region, he's actually the kingpin. I just want to read for you a post, a Facebook post I got from just these corridors. There is an interesting post I just got recently. I think it was a screenshot. I need to get it for you. Yes, this gentleman called Stephen Ndungu shared this post and said, according to me, Stephen Ndungu, there is every effort to contain and suppress watu wa Milimani, from depriving us of 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, to destroying our only voice, our Jubilee Party, to reducing our pain without king, to a village man dealing with our resident problems, kapua yetu, majani chai, mutu ya masiwa, na bei ya bangi sasa. He's saying, I know I got that was very interesting. I don't want to intel about it, that we've been reduced. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who is a man that is supposed to be a national leader, he's been reduced to a man who is just addressing the Mount Kenya problems. You know, majani chai, mtu wa masiwa, and now one has also been added to that list. I saw recently the illicit brew where residents of Murang'a were told to line up and some secret balloting so that they take their names of those brewers. You know, zile boma za pombe. I will one day look at it. So technically it's been reduced to a man who is now delving only with the Mount Kenya issues. A man who should be having a national outlook. Now that's what that gentleman is saying that in that screenshot. However, today there is another sprinter group coming from the Mount Kenya East side that led by Mpure Bure, who are saying they're vouching for Kithure Kindiki to be Mount Kenya East kingpin. So we said that Kitawaramba sometimes, Kitawaramba. This group is now saying they want Kithure Kindiki to be the kingpin of Mount Kenya East. And simply what they're saying is that Rigathi Gachagua should confine himself to the Mount Kenya West. That is Nyeri, Murang'a, Kiambu. I don't know that there is Mount Kenya North now, the Laikipia, you know, and Kirinyaga. That is one sprinter group. And it's coalescing around Kithure Kindiki, the interior CS. Kithure Kindiki is not a lightweight. Remember, he was a front runner in the race to be deputy, to be the William Ruto's running mate. Silently, Ndindi-Njenga is also leading a breakaway group from William Ruto. And I want you to listen to 2 video clips. One, when Gadono Mushomba was saying that she should not be silenced about talking to the issues of Mount Kenya. Then Ndindi-Njenga is leading a sprinter group that has emerged as the new crusaders of 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. And one person that has really come out, you'll realize that even yesterday, during the Nyandarua event where Njambini, where Rigathi Gachagua led some delegation with some members to go and condole with the family of Mukami Kimathi, Ndindi-Njenga was not there. and Gathoni Mushomba was also around there. So Gathoni Mushomba and Ndindi-Nyoro are part of another splinter group, vouching for 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. Something that Rigathi Gachagua opposes, saying that was Uhuru Kenyatta's idea. I want you to listen to these 2 video clips, one from Ndindi-Nyoro and Gathoni Mushomba.
If you're working on universal health care and you want to put more budget and finish and accomplish and achieve, then you're also taking over Uhuru Kenyatta's mantras. So you can't come and put me in the cage and tell me, Gathoni, stop talking about 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, because this was Uhuru Kenyatta's. If we achieve this 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote share, is it Uhuru Kenyatta who is going to benefit, or it is our people from the Mount Kenya region? We need to sober up. And I don't want to be gagged. I do not want to be told that I belong to this political party and the party is not saying this, because I went to my people and I convinced them that Kenya Kwanza government is a good government. I mean, it's going to be good government, and it is government of the people. And when I go to parliament to do what I'm supposed to do, I have actually proposed a law. That is my mandate as a member of parliament. I have gone to parliament to do what I'm supposed to do, and I have written to the speaker. And the speaker has my letter. And there are many others who have also proposed other formulas. Let all the formulas be put on the table. Let us have a national dialogue. And let us agree on the way forward.
Na mnajua, especially some of our counties are very dense. Iko na watu wengi. Tunataka hii maneno ya basari na maneno ya maendeleo tuilainishe kwa idadi ya watu. Idadi ya watu kwa sababu ndio inalipa kodi. Idadi ya watu ndio inachaguana. Hiyo pia tunafanya mikakati kule bunge, na we have the support of our president, ya kwamba tuegemee sana sana maendeleo tukiangazia watu. Hata hii basari tunaangalia vile tutabadilisha formula hata ya CDF, so that kwenye kuna watu wengi wanapewa pesa mingi, sio kupewa tu ati inatoshana, hata constituency hazitoshani. So ile maneno tulikuwa tunasema ya 1 man 1 vote 1 shilling, it is not far-fetched. Tunaiangalia hata kwa maneno yote tunafanya ya fedha za umma.
The Nyoro and Gathoni team, Mushomba team, seems to be pulling on a direction that they needed to bring the reasoning, and they needed to fight for the people of the mountain, affairs of the people of the mountain, irrespective of whether it was Uhuru Kenyatta's idea or not. Something that if you listen to what Gathoni Mushomba is saying, she's being silenced. The person who is silencing her, doesn't need any microscope or any other gadget to understand that is yours truly, the deputy president. The third other splinter group I'm seeing technically is Ndindi-Njenga. The Ndindi-Njenga and Sabina Chege that are taking the Jubilee, undertaking the Jubilee coup, is a group that could be being pushed by Rigathi, which is a very clear position, or by the William Ruto. It's amongst the two. If Rigathi is pulling it, then he's pulling it unknowingly. But William Ruto behind it could also want some team to coalesce around, without that Kapati somehow. And that is also another splinter group, even though it's supposed to work with Rigathi Gachagua. I listened to their speech today, saying the way it's a voice of the mountain. The third other group, 2 other groups, and I want us to pay attention to this too, because these are very critical. One is the Murang'a camp. Now, the Murang'a factor comes this way. There are leaders who believe that the Kenyatta 1 and Kenyatta 2 came from Kiambu. Mwai Kibaki, another high-ranking member, came from Nyeri. And then Rigathi Gachagua is coming from Nyeri. So there are those who also believe that the turn could be Murang'a's turn. Remember, the shakers and movers, financiers of the political campaigns in this country, especially even from the region, majority of those billionaires, quite a number, come from Murang'a. So that is why you see Mwangi wa Iria is really having a lot of clout in his escapades with the Azimio wing. Lastly, Ndindi-Njenga is also emerging as a force on the other side of the Laikipia. And just there last month, he had a couple of activities and some indoctrination, some prayers calling for what would be. He's a man who is known as a mobilizer among the youth. Doesn't really buy to the script of Rigathi Gachagua. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to look at these 5 groups. What the truth here is, Ruto is not committed in the unity of the mountain. That one I can tell you. He's not. That is not in it. And I think even during campaigns we used to say, I agree with my friend Patrick, who once called me and told me, Kevin, you need to. We are going to see whether they're going to regroup after. It will be very interesting to see how it plays out. Why this is coming out? Why this split? Ruto has a script behind it. This is a very clear strategy to detonate Rigathi Gachagua's grip. The purported grip he's trying to yield from the mountain, so that he does not, Rigathi cannot hold him hostage in 2027. I can tell you, the more Rigathi Gachagua comes to public, and I'm told we are not supposed to call him Rigiji because the name has been copyrighted. No, but there is a window in the next 6 months. Kama kuna mtu ata dispute, maybe it will not be allowed. Rigathi Gachagua will always want to take a grip of the mountain, and William Ruto, looking at some of the recent political developments, he wants to pull another approach in 2027 and will look at other region, not to go for over dependence of the mountain. This is what happened. You remember the analysis I did to you here about the Alice Wahome fallout, where there is some projects that were there was a budget set aside for some projects in the mountain, some water projects in the mountain, that was rerouted to Ukambani and other regions. And according to the Standard newspaper that wrote that story, Alice Wahome was not on the know, and she was a bit angered by the fact that the budget was rerouted for the project to go to other regions for political, to yield some political merit. What does that tell you? That William Ruto is not committed in depending the overdependence on Mount Kenya, because that will be a risk. If you do that, then maybe if you get second term, he knows very well that Rigathi will start campaigning immediately, or rather, that will be a challenge. So that's why this sprinting, this splits, is something that William Ruto is exactly on the know. Number two, I think Rigathi 2032, there is a presidential bid Rigathi is launching. His 2032 presidential bid is being launched in 2027. That's it. And you will see a lot of chaos in terms of nominations and governorship positions, even here in Nairobi. There's going to be a very big problem on who is going to be the next governor of Nairobi because of the 2022 presidential bid. He's just trying to follow the ropes of William Ruto. In 2017, William Ruto was in charge of Jubilee campaigns, nominations, and made sure that any other person that could be a threat for him in the mountain was sent packing. So this is something that could also happen. All those who are on it, and that's where those sprinter groups is becoming, so that in 2032, people want to win seats. 2027, people want to get their seats, not because of Rigathi Gachagua. People want to get their own, build their own grip of it. The other thing that Ruto is scared of is the collective push that the mountain can have if they're united. I remember that collective push was once witnessed in 2019 when they said Uhuru has done nothing. And everyone, imagine, Uhuru had done nothing. Uhuru had abandoned the region. And that's how they eclipsed. They decimated Uhuru Kenyatta from the Mount Kenya political eclipse. So with this, I know William Ruto is also looking at a situation where he will not be held hostage by these leaders. Then, if another faction, if faction X can rise and say Ruto has not done X, Y, Z, you realize that maybe another faction might come out and counter. And with that caucusing is suppressed. Lastly, I think as a man who also understands the Kenyan politics, President Ruto do not envision a situation where the business moguls are regrouping around Rigathi Gachagua as center of power. In fact, The goal is to dismantle Rigathi Gachagua as a center of power, especially in the mountain, because if that will happen, then they can really destroy the matrix for William Ruto in the future, in the next elections. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. I don't know what you think, but I look at it. Ndindi-Njenga is a big headache, and I think of all these comes, apart from the two politicians we must look up for, Kindiki and Njenga. That will be a force that can give Rigathi Gachagua a run for his money if they decide to go head on against the deputy president. That's my take, guys.